awfully quiet, Mr. Mulder.
I'm wondering which lie to believe.
Trust no one.
I'm going to voice an opinion that hopefully more people are already coming to on their own. Maybe it's popular and maybe it's not. I think that all the leaks that are coming out regarding Star Wars and in general with movies, I think they're bullshit. And I think they're bullshit in two different ways. Bullshit number one is that they get clicks and views. So whether they do it on purpose or not, I think that much like the mainstream media, YouTubers and websites are reporting these supposed sources without doing any real journalistic integrity at discounting and testing them. In fact, making a disclaimer repeatedly that you don't know and they might be rumors, it doesn't really cut it. I think that what's happened from the time that episode 7 stopped and we had fan theories, episode 8 came out and poisoned the well. Now everyone's pissed at Star Wars and Disney, and the atmosphere has become darker. So rather than saying, hey look, we've got a bunch of fan theories, here's some interesting ones, now it's become we have leaks, we have sources. So what we're getting as fan theories, wild conjecture, is being presented like someone's watched a script, seen something. I think that it is bullshit, and if you are constantly clicking on this stuff, I'll admit I've done some until the point where I was just like, this is retarded. Like, we have contradicting ideas, stuff that makes no sense. Have a little respect for yourself. I'm sure you have more to do with your time than to sit there and give people view counts over nonsense. I mean, at this point, it must be obvious that these people don't know what they're talking about. And then when the movie does come out, something in these predictions must be true in some way, and they'll go, look, see? We had a prediction. Yeah, if you predict everything, eventually something you predicted will be right. And the second way that is bullshit is I suspect that the lordly JJ Abrams is actually capable and may be sending out bullshit through people who are leaking it as a means of stirring up attention and misleading people about what he is intending to do. I do not like Mr. JJ Abrams. I don't like what he's done to other franchises. I don't respect him as a storyteller. Producer, he's amazing. But I think this guy will do anything at all in order to maintain a presence, to make money, to have influence. I think that he's a businessman and a very nasty one. I don't think he's an artist. But you can think what you want about Mr. Abrams. And whether that part is true, whether this is something being done intentionally by Disney or not, doesn't really matter. What matters is that it's bullshit.
I won't bring it up again, but I'd be remiss if I didn't remind you that denial can be a funny thing. You know? One never can tell what it'll make one do.
We need to stop doing it. It's fucking pathetic. And just to throw my hat in the ring, I am going to give my prediction. Now, this prediction is not a leak. I am not a source. I am going to do this psychologically. So, JJ Abrams likes to take other people's ideas and mash them together and put them under his own label as if they were his ideas. Added to that, he was a Star Wars fan growing up. He or his friends were familiar with the extended universe, meaning books and comic books, etc. Now, you see in episode 7, there's already been an influence. And I'll just say, I was never a huge Star Wars fan to the point of reading books. But I know people who were, and there appears to be a definite influence on some of the ideas he was starting up and exploring in episode 7. About forces coming back from the Outer Rim that Palpatine had out there, blah, blah, blah. and even the idea about the balance of the Force and the gray area of the Force. These are ideas explored in the extended universe. So I think what we're going to see, and this is where my predictions will come from, is material that comes from the extended universe mashed up together, and his shine and his label and his signature on top of it. So Rey, being seen as a dark Force user, I think the best theory about this one is that Rey is a clone. What you're seeing may be a vision, as some people say, but I think it's much more likely that he's going to draw on the extended universe that Palpatine was involved in cloning. And you can see that there's a background in the movies for this with the soldiers, the stormtroopers came from a cloning facility.
Very impressive.
I'd hoped you would be pleased. Clones can think creatively. You will find that they are immensely superior to droids. We take great pride in our combat education and training programs. Magnificent, aren't they?
I think Palpatine had a cloning program. I think Rey was dropped off by people who used to work for it. And I think you're either seeing another clone, or you are seeing the original clone she came from, because she looks like she's in pretty rough shape. So she might be older. I think that he's going to find that very clever, especially trying to recover whatever he can from episode 8. The vision that Rey has where she's looking for her parents down that dark hole, and she gets a vision of a bunch of herself in a line, and her parent is herself.
This group was created about 5 years ago.
I should have felt trapped or panicked, but I didn't. This didn't go on forever. I knew it was leading somewhere. That at the end it would show me what I came to see. Let me see them. My parents. Please.
They are totally obedient, taking any order without question. We modified their genetic structure to make them less independent than the original host.
Clone. And that's not based on what I think is really cool. I don't really like the idea, but I suspect it because it is drawn from the extended universe concepts. The Palpatine thing, they're saying there's going to be time travel. I don't know about the time travel, and I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do with Palpatine. But my suspicion is that the leaks that we're hearing, the most likely one to be true, is that Kylo Ren, is going to get his ass beat. And he's going to come to a Jesus moment. And come back to the light side, or at least the neutral side, and leave the dark side. And we'll have more revelation as Palpatine is revealed to, I don't know, why would he have clones? Maybe he found a way, as his master had, or was looking for a way as his master had, to move from person to person. Darth Sidious was his name, and I think it was Darth Plagueis is the one he's talking about in the prequels. Maybe he is Plagueis. Maybe he moved to his student already. This is an old theory, once again, that was bandied around after Episode 7 about who Snoke was. But maybe the clone program was because the Skywalkers were unstable and he wanted to have another system. This would explain why the clone would have a Sith training weapon in her hand. It would explain why they came equipped with knowledge about how to fight with Sith weapons. Why Rey is aggressive and a Force user. It was part of a special cloning program. Some people have even pointed out that Rey's staff, not made of wood, is not just a double striking weapon that could be like the lightsabers used by, for instance, Darth Maul, but that it seems to be constructed from debris that may include actual lightsabers, including a style that looks like Darth Maul's. Is there a connection? Perhaps that's why they brought him back at the end of Solo, and perhaps that's why they show him in the commercial, showing things in the past leading up to this episode.
You have done well, my apprentice.
Where is she?
Obey me, or she dies, apprentice.
Hey guys, it's Todd from the Scoundrels Cantina, and welcome to another episode of A Star Wars Story. In this video, I'll be telling you the story of the clone of Galen Marek, in other words, known simply as Starkiller. And as always, we're mixing the expanding universe and canon in this video.
And as always, we're mixing the expanding universe and canon in this video. And as always, we're mixing the expanding universe and canon in this video.
And as always, we're mixing the expanding universe and canon in this video, just like in any other A Star Wars Story video. So, let's begin. When the original Starkiller stormed the Death Star in a bid to rescue the captured Rebel Alliance leaders, Emperor Palpatine presented him with the opportunity of killing Darth Vader and replacing him as Palpatine's Sith apprentice. While Starkiller refused, perishing in the ensuing battle with Palpatine to provide his friends the means to escape, Vader was at least made aware of Palpatine's long-standing desire to replace him with a more able apprentice. Now earnestly pursuing the idea of the secret apprentice to help him assassinate Palpatine, Vader preserved Starkiller's body, taking it to Kamino and extracting cells to clone the Force Adept. Due to the difficulty in cloning Force sensitives, many of the initial clones were deformed and aberrant monstrosities. As the process was refined, the clones became increasingly stable, though many still succumbed to madness after a period of a few months, at which point Vader would simply move on to training another test subject. The Starkiller clone, designated as Subject 1138, was just the latest in a long line. Subject 1138 particularly impressed Vader enough for him to hope that this version might become the first success, but as with the others, he inherited Marek's powers and skills at the cost of receiving his emotions as well, a side effect of memory flashes used in training process.
Anyways, that's my theory on that. I won't go too deep into it. I'm my own source. I've read no scripts. And yeah, I think everyone needs to take a little bit of a vacation and stop talking about leaks and just talk about ideas or theories if you're going to talk about them.
Give it to me straight. Is this it? The big checkout? Come on, level with me. How bad is it?
It's not bad. You'll be fine. You'll be back on your feet in no time.
Must I do everything myself? Whoa!